Bonjour, ça va? C'est Benedict Wells. Et aujourd'hui, I wanted to say hello to you from Berlin. And if you're interested, I would like to talk with you about two of my books now available in French. The first one is called Dernier Été. It was published last year at Sledgenessie, and it's now available at Livre de Poche. And when I was writing that novel, I was 21 and I always got rejected by publishing houses and agencies, and I was working during the day, writing at night, and I felt I have to throw everything I have into that novel. And maybe I didn't know too much what I was doing, but at least I was very passionate. And so the book is about a musician that in the end maybe doesn't believe enough in himself. There are too many doubts, so he decides to not become a musician, but to become a teacher. And then 15 years later, he's almost 40 and he's stuck in his life. He's bored by his classes and his students, and everything feels like a dead end. But then suddenly he discovers in one of his classes a music wonder boy from Lithuania. And this boy is 17 and kind of weird, but still the teacher thinks with that young prodigy he can use him, and with his help he maybe will be able to leave his old teacher life behind him and go back to music industry. But what he doesn't know is that the constantly lying and very clever boy has his own secrets, so everything will turn out very unexpected. And I don't want to say too much here, but it ends in a delirious road trip to Istanbul, and it's all about this one summer where anything is possible, and the teacher also falls in love with a woman, and everything is on the gambling table. One crazy summer. So when I was writing the book, my godfather was a bit Bob Dylan, because he meant a lot to me writing this novel, and he's in the book himself a bit, and also the young Wonder Boy reminded me a bit of the young Dylan, and so each chapter of the book is named after a Dylan song. This is Le Dernier Été, and the other book that is now available in French, it was published in August at Sledgenessie. It's called Verite Sur le Mensonge. It's a collection of 10 short stories from the last years. And while a novel is rather something like a thoughtful menu, I tried to write something fun with the short stories. They should feel rather like a picnic box with with a chocolate bar and a salty snack and so on. Or in other words, I wanted to write something that feels like a mixtape with very different songs. So one story is about the very unusual love between a man and a woman. One is about the complicated relationship between a father and a son. One about a failed marriage. And the title story, La Vérité sur le Mensonge, it's about a mediocre screenplay writer and journalist from the present. He's also a passionate Star Wars nerd, and one day he gets offered to write the biography of George Lucas. And while he writes who invented Star Wars, and while he writes that biography, he realizes how many coincidences were on the way to create Star Wars. And for example, when Lucas started to write Star Wars, the first drafts were very different from the final result. Han Solo, for example, wasn't this charming scoundrel, but a green alien, and so on. It took Lucas many years to come up with the final draft. So maybe the protagonist does point out that too much. However, he gets fired as the biography writer, and he becomes very angry and he's jealous of George Lucas. But what shall he do? In this time, he's just a nobody. But then, like a little bit being John Malkovich-ish, some very crazy things happen, and suddenly he's stranded in the year 1973. And first he's overwhelmed being in the 70s, but then and doesn't know what to do. But then he thinks about it. Okay, it's 73. It's 4 years until the first Star Wars movie will come into the theaters. And maybe he doesn't know anybody like George Lucas, who is friends with Spielberg and so on. Maybe he's not the man of the hour like George Lucas. But he knows exactly what George Lucas is writing at the moment, how far away his first drafts are from the final result. And he thinks he has seen the final movie. Can that be enough in the year 73 to outmaneuver Lucas in the next 4 years and become the creator of Star Wars himself? that is, I don't want to say too much here, but that is the story Verite Sur le Mensonge. And I hope you're gonna enjoy these two books. But since I talked so much about my own books, I wanted to recommend you one by another author, and it's I just have read it for a second time, and it's a masterpiece. It's called Stoner by John Williams, and this book is deep, it's thoughtful, it's sharp, it's touching, it's a perfect novel, nothing less, and you can't do anything wrong with that. So I wanted to give you that recommendation too. And I just want to say thank you for listening, and also thank you for reading my books in French. It's still unbelievable that I translated 3 books now into French. And I also want to say thank you to my publishing houses and to the bookstore sellers. And yeah, I wish you all my best, and salute.